A regular meeting of the Board of Trustees of the McAllen Independent School District will be held Tuesday, August the 26th, 2025, beginning at 5:30 p.m. in the Dr. Ricardo Chapa Boardroom, Administration Building of the McAllen Independent School District, 2000 North 23rd Street, McAllen, Texas 78501. Items listed on this agenda may be taken in an order other than is shown on this agenda. Unless removed from the consent agenda, items identified within the consent agenda will be acted on at one time. At this meeting, there may be discussion and action by the board on the items and subjects listed as follows. 1, call the meeting to order. I have done so at 5:31 p.m. 2, moment of silence. Thank you. 3, Pledge of Allegiance.
Of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item number 4 is public comments. We have no public comment tonight. Item number 5, consent agenda items. 5.
Madam Vice President, I move to approve consent items 5A through 5. I should have counted 5I.
There is a motion by Trustee Peña. Is there a second? There's a motion by Trustee Peña and a second by Trustee De La Garza Lopez. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Takes us to item 6, instructional services, instructional leadership, human resources, business and operations, and board of trustees items. Item 6A, instructional services, instructional leadership items. Just 6A1, discussion and possible action to adopt the proclamation regarding Deaf Awareness Month. Dr. Gutierrez.
Yes, Madam Vice President and Board of Trustees, by proclaiming the month of September as Deaf Awareness Month, administration would like to work to raise deaf awareness. Mr. Mark May will introduce some of our students, and I believe Ms. Sofia Peña, our trustee, will be reading the proclamation, and we are requesting action on this item.
Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
There's a motion by Trustee De La Garza Lopez and a second by Trustee Peña. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Okay. I will read the proclamation. A proclamation, State of Texas, County of Hidalgo, McAllen Independent School District. Whereas the deaf population includes a wide range of individuals, from those that are born profoundly deaf and use sign language as a primary means of communication, to those with a degree of hearing loss who use hearing aids or other forms of amplification and communication modes. And whereas the purpose of Deaf Awareness Month is to raise awareness of the issue and the culture of people who are deaf and hard of hearing, and to promote equal access to information, educational programs, resources, and services for deaf individuals. And whereas we celebrate the many unique and individual achievements of people who are deaf and hard of hearing, and we thank the many professionals and educators dedicated to assisting and educating individuals who are deaf and hard of hearing. Now, therefore, I, Sofia Merced Peña, sitting in for Board President Aaron D. Rivera, members of the Board of Trustees of the McAllen Independent School District, do hereby proclaim that the month of September 2025 be observed as Deaf Awareness Month. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the McAllen Independent School District to be affixed on this 26th day of August 2025. Mr. May.
Thank you so much. And if the members of the school board and Dr. Gutierrez will come to the front, and we'll be bringing in representatives from our regional day school program for the deaf. We'll start with RDS PD Instructional Strategist, Idalia Salazar. Next, we have a Stride student, Luis Mar. From McAllen High School, Mikala Ortiz. From Brown Middle School, Carla Montoya. Also from Brown, Adamari Guerrero Gutierrez. And from Memorial High School, Alexa Mar. And a parent infant, Isio Gonzalez. And we have RDSBD Supervisor Robin Ellis. From Escandon Elementary, Diana Guzman. From Roosevelt Elementary, Ariana Rivera. From Escandon Elementary, RDSBD teacher Jeremiah Rosales. And RDSBD director, Ms. Lisa Lara. And finally, our special education supervisor, Georgianne Goodlett. We're going to take a photo for our district social media, and parents will be welcome to take a photo as well.
Everybody right here on 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
And I think they have a small token of appreciation they'd like to give to the school board.
Oh, okay. Okay,
Is the tax assessors here? Lorena is he here? Lorena is the tax? Oh. Julio Espinosa, okay. That would be-
Did we need to reorg?
Julio Espinosa.
6C2.
Madam Vice President, I would like to make a motion to move item 6C2 up on the agenda.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion by trustee Peña and a second by trustee Haddad to reorganize the agenda, bringing forward item 6C2. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries 5-0. So we'll go ahead and take up item 6C2 at this time. Report regarding annual tax collections for the period of July 1, 2024 to June 30th, 2025. Dr. Gutierrez.
Yes. Mr. Julio Espinosa from the tax office for the Hidalgo County will be here to present the annual tax collections for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2024 and ending June 30th of 2025. This item is for information purposes only. Go ahead, Mr. Espinosa.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Julio Espinosa from the tax office. Mr. Pablo Real was unable to attend today. He's out of town. But this presentation is for the McAllen Independent School District annual tax collection reports. This is for the period of July 1st, 2024 through June 30th, 2025. In this chart, you'll see the base collections. We've got the current delinquent rollback taxes. Total base collections for the period was $87.7 million. Penalties and interest for current delinquent was $1.2 million. And then the collection fees, $400,000. Total collections for the period were $89,497,228.09. On this next slide, this is a recap, and we in the middle where it says current collections to date, total collections, the $86 million. If you compare it to prior year, the $83 million, there was a excess in collections compared to last year, $2.6 million. The very last row there, when you're looking at percentage of collections, compared to last year was a 96.40%. This year, collections was 96.69, so a little bit above last year's collections. Really, really good for the year. The next slide, this shows the 5-year comparison just to see where we're at. In 2020, we had a percentage of collections of 96.65. In 21, 97.42. In 22, 96.99. In 23, 96.40. And this past year, 2024, we're at the 96.69. So all these last 5 years have been above the 95%, which is really good when you're looking at current tax collections. The next couple of slides talk about delinquent taxes. We won't go into detail. I believe the delinquent tax attorneys may be making a presentation soon, so we'll go ahead and skip those slides. But this is the presentation for current tax collections. I don't know if anyone has a question regarding the reports or the amounts.
Do we have any questions? I don't think so. Thank you, Mr. Espinosa.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, sir.
You wanna do it? 6B1.
We go back to 682.
Madam Vice President, I'd like to make a motion to move item 6B1 up on the agenda.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
There's a motion by trustee Peña and a second by trustee Haddad to move up to reorganize the agenda, bringing forward item 6B1. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries, and we are now on to item 6B1. Discussion of McAllen Independent School District Policy EFB Local Instructional Resources, Library Materials. Did I say that wrong?
Yes.
Library Materials, first reading. Dr. Gutierrez.
Yes. McAllen ISD Policy EFB Local addresses the decision to opt out of the School Library Advisory Council. TASB, which is the Texas Association of School Boards, has recommended a new version of our policy that incorporates the necessary revisions and aligns with the district's current direction regarding library governance. Ms. Ann Vega, our Director for Digital Learning and Libraries, will have more information on this, and this item is for information purposes only since it's our first reading. Go ahead, Ms. Vega.
I'm going to go through each slide if that's okay. So I'm going to start off with some of the things that SB 13, right, okay, had recommended, not recommended, but is now law, is that we had to have parental rights enhancements. And one of those things was for us to be able to afford parents the ability to go in and see what their kids are reading, what their kids have read in the past, and to be able to identify books that they don't want their child to be able to read. So we worked over the summer with our cataloging management system to create that portal. So parents will create an account, they can go in there, they can see all of their children. So if they have a child at Rayburn, another one at Mac High, they can see all of their children's information there. It allows them to go in and select certain books, and if they deem this is a book they don't want their child to read, they would select it, and it forbids it to be checked out to that child. One of the other things is they have deemed it necessary to go in and look for books that would be offensive to a child depending on their age. And so you can see here defines harmful material, indecent content, offensive sexual or exculpatory depictions, and you can go through there and read all of that complying with SIPA. So what we did was part of SB 13 was not only did we have to train all of our librarians, but our librarians had to go back and train all of their teachers. They had to work collectively to identify books that could potentially be considered harmful for children at elementary, middle, and high school age. So we had Region 1 come and work with all of our elementary librarians. They met on July 31st, the 4th, and the 5th, and when I say they identified books that needed to be looked at, right? And so just because when we put tags in, it's going to bring up books, but it's because one book might have 10 or 15 tags. And so once we bring those books up, we have to review each one to determine whether it is considered harmful and follows, is it compliant with everything in HB 900, and is it compliant with everything in SB 13? Secondary librarians met on August 19th, 20th, and 21st. They basically did the same thing. We had some vendors come in to kind of show them how to go in, look at those tags, and create these lists that then we have to go back and look at all of these books one by one. One of the recommendations was to create a local school library advisory council, but TASB gave districts the option to opt in or opt out, and we opted out. Excuse the typo there, but no Region 1 districts opted in. Everybody has determined that they would continue the process as is when looking at procuring books. Our acquisition procedures have to comply also with SB 13. So what that means is every district is required to post any book acquisitions for 30 days. So our librarians have started creating a list for September 1st. All of those books will be posted for 30 days to give parents the opportunity to go and look and see what books are going to be purchased. If they have a problem with any of those titles, then they have what they call a public comment form that they have access to, and on that form, they'll go in and they will answer a series of questions. In order to make a comment about any of those books, it can be any parent of McAllen ISD students, it can be any teacher here in McAllen ISD, or it can be any community member who lives in McAllen. One of the things I did put in that form to ensure that it is a community member or someone that lives in McAllen is they would have to upload a water bill or electricity bill, just so that we don't have people from other cities coming in. It just applies to the people in our community. They would list the title and the author of the book in question. And then there's questions like, did you read it? Have you read our policies? And which of these things in SB 900 or SB 13 do you feel is, is not being addressed or has, that is shown here, like horror, violence, that type of thing. And then we ask that they list the page that this occurs on. And then that would be looked at through any committee if anybody actually fills this out. Next. Challenge and appeals. One of the other things that came about, we've always had challenges available for parents, but this is a little more in depth. So I was telling Dr. De Hoyos and Ms. Nino that I received something from Region 1 yesterday, just yesterday, from TEA that specifically addresses challenges. So what I did was updated and modeled the new challenge form after what they're recommending, of course tweaking some of those things for McAllen ISD. And I have copies of all those that I'll leave with you so that you can take a look at it before our next reading, unless you want to see it before. And then communication. So I know one of the things that we really want to be transparent with everything that's going on with SB 13. So I have a newsletter that will be sent out through ThrillShare on September 1st. I might do it the 2nd, just because we'll be on Labor Day holiday that day. But it'll be sent out, and what it does is it'll be monthly communication about everything going on. I want to make sure that every parent knows that they have access to that portal. I want to make sure that everybody, all parents, understand SB 13 and what it entails them to have access to. It also required that we have the catalog visible for anybody in the community, which it's already on my webpage. I already have the challenge form. I just need it to be approved, and then it will also be posted. The other thing that we are working on, one of the items in there is that every, not just campus libraries, but every classroom library has to list all of their books as well. And so I created a folder with every campus. And you can imagine how tedious this is. Like, this passed in July, and they want all of this done by September 1st, and we're going to do everything in our power to make that happen. But our teachers are doing what they can, as well as our librarians, to make sure that we comply with everything that SB 13 has asked us to do. So, questions?
Trustee Haddad?
Ms. Vega, thank
Yes,
you so
sir.
much. Thank you for spending a lot of time with me on the phone today.
Sure, absolutely.
Asking a lot of questions about this policy. And I just want to reiterate our conversation that we had, that even though we opted out of the council, parents still have a lot of ability to input, as you laid out in your presentation.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So every parent is welcome in any of our libraries. And now they can actually go in and see the catalog for any of our campuses. And they have the ability to not only see what their kids are checking out, but to also restrict. So parents have been giving the ability to be more in charge of what is in their child's hand. And so I think the whole purpose of SB 13 was to ensure the safety of our kids, but we also want parents to realize that what Ann Vega allows her kids to read, Dr. De Hoyos may not allow her kids to read, and that's okay. They have the ability to go in there and determine that. But at the same time, our libraries are here to serve our whole community and every population that we serve. So, and we work very hard to make sure that we have culturally diverse books And as long as they follow the rules, we want to make sure those books stay on our shelves.
Thank you.
Mhm.
And I think,
I have one question.
Yes, ma'am.
If a book is not allowed in our library, but a parent allows them to read it, is the child still, and it's an AR testable book, are they still able to test
Yeah,
on it?
absolutely. And so that was one of the questions. I know we had some concerned librarians because if you have gifted kids, sometimes their maturity level is a little higher.
Right.
And so if it's not a book, and I know last year I had some parents reach out from Milam, and so they were concerned because, you know, one, Milam is tiny, right? And so they have all these great books, but they wanted access to other books. So I told them their choices were they could definitely go into ebooks. They could definitely go to a junior high and look at those books. They can always go to the public library. But yes, just because it's not in their physical library, they can still test on it in AR. Mhm.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
That prompts a question for me. I recall a few years ago, my children were able to access certain books on their tablet or their device. Are these also subject to the same standards and review as well?
Yes, so that is also in there because it's very specific. It says classroom libraries, ebooks, magazines, etc. And so right now, I've already worked with Follett and all of our other vendors. The one that is lagging behind is Sora, and that is one of our digital content people. So the first thing we did, I worked with them last week, and I asked them to remove all adult books because when you're in high school, a lot of those books, kids, you know, they want to read them. And so if I have a student that said, hey, I would like to read this, okay, you know, we're going to order it. But we did remove, I want to say 200 or 300 adult books from the whole catalog so that none of our high schoolers will have access. It's one of those things they'll have to go to the public library. We also worked in the summer. We had some, whenever a librarian goes in and they order any ebook, they have to specifically say this is a juvenile book or this is young adult and this is high school. If they don't click young adult and high school, then some of those filtered in. So we did work over the summer to pull about 40 or 50 titles. And it is very specific and says that any ebook service that we use has to have the same thing, a parent portal. Sora said they'll have it available this fall. They don't have it ready yet. But they are going to also pull a list for me. I did ask when we took out all of the free books, like open source books. There must have been like 2,000 or 3,000. We took those out because I can't control that part of it, right? And we took out the adult books. But now what we're doing is we're focusing to make sure that anything that is in the elementary level fits these standards. Anything that fits in young adult fits those standards, and anything is, you know, even juvenile. So we're making sure it's all set the way it should be. The parent portal, like I said, should be coming soon. Yes.
and then I just want to comment based on
Sure.
our conversation about making sure that we have clear guidelines, processes for parents if they do bring up a issue with
challenge.
books.
Mhm.
And so, thank you for that.
So I will work, I think one of the things and one of the reasons we're having this first session is to allow us to determine, like, this is the this is the policy that TASB sent us, but we can also create the rules of how we're going to handle these things. And I know one of the questions that you asked is if a book is challenged, how do you determine, you know, say there's 5 people or you know, 6 people on that committee, and 4 of them say, I think this is compliant, and you have 2 that say, no, it's not compliant. So I did call Region 1 after our conversation, and she is going to verify, but she said in that case, they would vote, and if it's not unanimous, it would go to the superintendent, and then he could make that final judgment.
Okay, then I think whatever the process procedures we need, you know, in our regulations, just spell that out so there's no confusion in any
Right.
eventuality.
And one of the things, and when I leave this paperwork here with you, I'll leave it here with Albert. One of these things that I did put because on the challenge form, it tells the parent, okay, this is how you can challenge, it'll be on the website, this is how you can challenge this book, but it doesn't say what happens after. So that was some of the verbiage I put after at the end, because I want to know, okay, I've submitted this, now what is McAllen going to do? And so I tried to put those steps in, and then I'll have to get clarification with our associate superintendents to make sure it's okay with them the way it's worded for elementary and secondary. And once they approve it, I'll have it ready for our next reading. That way you can take a look at it and make sure it works for everyone in the district and our parents.
Thank you, Ms. Vega.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any other comments?
Thank you.
This item was for information purposes only. Thank you, Ms. Vega.
Thank you.
Okay, that takes us back to item 6A2, discussion and possible action for the approval of donation on behalf of Noble Charities from Noble Construction for Sam Houston Elementary. Dr. Gutierrez.
Tonight, we're asking for action regarding the approval of donation on behalf of Noble Charities, Noble Construction for Sam Houston Elementary. Ms. Janet Nino, our Associate Superintendent for Instructional Leadership, will have more information. We are requesting action on this item. Go ahead, Ms. Nino. No, I don't see it.
Thank you, Dr. Gutierrez. Noble Charities, an organizational part of Noble Construction, will donate the materials and work for the installation of a wooden canopy, which is showed here in this slide at Sam Houston Elementary. This canopy will serve as an inclusive outdoor space to improve the campus environment for students at our campus there to access the outdoor learning space, including our students that are limited with disabilities, and also to help with the area of the forest area that's growing there. Thank you.
And this item is for action.
Yes, ma'am.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee De La Garza Lopez and a second by trustee Peña. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Okay, motion carries 5-0. And I think we have a presentation.
Yes, we have some representatives from Noble Charities that are here. If the board and the superintendent would like to come to the front. And we'll start with, from Noble Charities, part of Noble Construction, Director of Leadership Academies, Ms. Valeria Vega, and then the Program Coordinator, Ms. Amy Peña. And they are followed by the Houston Elementary Principal, Ms. Jessica Lowe, and the Houston Interventionist, Mr. Ruben Castro. And Noble Charities is presenting a check to Sam Houston for their tiny forest canopy in the amount of $8,500.
Big smiles on 3. 1, 2, 3. A little closer. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Yes, I already ate the milkshakes.
We are extremely appreciative of the generosity of Noble, our partners, so thank you all so much. This takes us to item 6A3, report regarding the Safe and Secure program. Dr. Gutierrez.
Yes, Madam Vice President and Board of Trustees, Ms. Janet Nino, our Associate Superintendent for Instructional Leadership, will provide an overview of the Safe and Secure program. And this item is for information purposes only, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Ms. Nino. Go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Gutierrez. Good evening. We always appreciate the opportunity to inform our school board and community about opportunities that are available for our students within our community at our elementaries. And this is specifically on our Safe and Secure After-School Childcare Program. This program has been available to serving the needs of our families for over 20 years. This program started at Gonzales Elementary over 20 years ago and has now expanded to 7 of our other elementaries at Castaneda Elementary, Garza, Gonzales, Hendricks, Milam, Bettis, Rayburn, and Sanchez Elementary. And it's an option for our families where we have higher enrollment at our schools. In addition to several other opportunities for our families to have childcare options within our McAllen community, such as private daycare facilities, partnerships that we have with the City of McAllen with Parks and Recreation, which are hosted on-site at several of our elementary schools, and then also a partnership with the McAllen Boys and Girls Club. The after-school childcare program with Safe and Secure, again, is hosted on-site at these campuses, so parents feel very comfortable to have their students just remain at the campus and with staff that they're familiar with. Our staff is amazing. They create an enriching environment that extends beyond their instructional day with activities, with helping with homework. If a student has to stay for tutoring, they can just transition into Safe and Secure once that tutoring time is done. And also just assisting them in having, again, a familiar environment. Some other key factors that are considered is, in addition to that, we have our own staff in the district, sometimes also some outside help that seeks to be employed in helping us staff this program. Our principals are part of that staff, paraprofessionals, even some clerical positions from within the district that are not at our campuses. We do our best to make sure that we have a low child to adult ratio aligned to meet program needs, so that does fluctuate from campus to campus based on the needs of our students at each school. Again, we're excited that our families, as in any other type of child care deduction, can claim this as part of their taxes. And again, it's a very cost-effective opportunity for our parents to count on for after-school care. With that, there is a one-page form that parents receive just as part of this communication so that they can make an assessment of the program itself to see if that best fits their family needs. It gives them the time of day that it's offered, the amount per student, and then also just a breakdown of what that looks like over the year. So that way, again, they can make sure that if they're choosing Safe and Secure, it aligns with meeting their family needs. Just like other auditable expenses from our district, this program also undergoes audit findings and has tight financial guidelines that we follow as we do in other accounts at our district. And so a recent audit was done, and this is just again to share what that finding had. Just some job description updates, recommendation just to have uniformity across all our schools. And then it was addressing some refunds that were taken care of when this program was still running during the time of COVID in November 2020. Here's a breakdown just to show how the program operates and how those costs and tuition are collected at each of our campuses. As you can see, the last column for the 2025-2026 school year is not populated yet because we're just starting our 7th day of school. And once those the month kind of closes up, then I'll definitely be able to update this for us. And also there is a chart there below just to show that average enrollment by campus from last year to this year. That has some numbers. This can fluctuate a little bit if we have, again, families needing a little bit more care throughout the month. Our principals will reevaluate those needs at their programs to see if we can also accommodate additional children. But at this time, we're happy to say that all of our families that have signed up at our Safe and Secure programs have been accommodated across the district at these 8 schools. And last but not least, just some answers to frequently asked questions we sometimes get, for revenue that we collect tuition on for this program, how is that used? And it's really to make sure that our staff is taken care of. They give almost 3 hours of their day to help us take care of our students. So we want to be competitive, right, as far as compensating them to take care of our students. So a lot of it goes towards payroll. Also, our campuses purchase supplies to meet the needs of our students during this time. It can be hula hoops, it can be crayons, it can be just a lot of different resources to keep them engaged. And then also, just again, making sure that any other questions we have, that we also address those. And at this time, I did invite our 8 principals that support our after-school program and would like just the opportunity, one of them, or would like to represent our group, to share anything else that they would like to just highlight about this option that we offer our McAllen ISD families. And again, excited to have them here tonight.
Anyone? Bueller?
Thank you, Ms. Hernandez.
Yes, they all
Just a
voted,
quick-
and I wasn't even there when they voted. So that's what I get for not being
Por
there.
eso.
That's right.
I learned my lesson. So good evening, Dr. Gutierrez and members of the board. So yes, as Ms. Nino said, the Safe and Secure program has been around a long time, just as I've been around a long time. We were the first to start it and actually began back in between either 93 and 95, so almost 30 years, or over 30 years of operation. The main purpose of it, of course, is to offer a safe environment for our children after school. Parents do take advantage of it. They are knocking at our doors before school even ends in May or June. And then they start up again in July. When we get back, they're already calling, when can we sign up? When can we sign up? To date, I know some of us here still have parents calling. We had 2 call today asking for a spot, and of course, we will accommodate them. But the program has been successful. We've always had the support of our superintendents, the many superintendents I've worked under, the boards also. So it is a very unique program in that the children go straight from their classrooms to their designated areas to begin their afternoon, the early evening. They are fed. Our child nutrition program does offer meals to the children. And then from there, they proceed to either do their homework, or if it's a nice day, they go outside to play. They're in the gym. All of them want to go to the gym, but we limit that to our 4th and 5th graders, right? So, all I can say is we want to continue it. Hopefully, it's not a program that's going to be done away with. I think our parents would be a little disappointed if that were the case. Do you all have any questions?
We definitely want to keep the program, no
Yeah.
question about that.
I did have a question. Thank you so much for all of this information. This is very helpful to see here. Going back a few slides, I believe it was on slide 4. Yes. So in the upper right, I see in the fine print there that for any families that maybe are not yet currently enrolled, that there's still an opportunity for them to enroll. And if for some reason there isn't capacity at one of the 7 campuses that is currently accepting students, we are willing, for no additional charge above and beyond what the enrollment fee and daily fee is, to bus those children to Castaneda Elementary for services there. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes,
Great.
sir. So thank you for bringing that also to our attention for this slide. Our principals always network to make sure the needs of our students are met, not just at their campus, but if I can help at another campus, absolutely. So Ms. Rodriguez at Castaneda has said we have lots of space, and if there's a need at any of the other 7 schools, we will make sure transportation happens from that campus to Castaneda at the same price they would be paying at their home school.
Wonderful, thank you. And then one additional
Yes, sir.
question. I'm not quite at the point where I have all of the elementary campuses in our district memorized.
Yes, sir.
But 2 slides prior, on slide 2, I just want to check that between the Safe and Secure program, the City of McAllen Aftercare program, and the Boys and Girls Club program, that every single one of our elementary campuses has some sort of after-school care option for families.
That is correct. And in some cases, at some of our elementaries, they might have
Multiple
Safe and
options.
Secure. They might have Parks and Rec next door,
Okay.
and they might have Boys and Girls Club within close proximity as well. And so that is correct. We make sure that our students are connected. Some also have options of staying with their family. Parents say, you know what, we're going to stay at home.
Mm-hmm.
They have family arrangements, but we do make sure each one of our students has some option of after-school needs being met.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
I have one question on cost. As far as cost to families, where have we been historically and where are we now?
Yes, ma'am. So up to just this school year, we have a $5 tuition per child in the program, again, to help meet with staffing needs and just, again, depending on what the enrollment is, sometimes depending on the needs of our students, we need to adapt to the number of staff that we have there. We're charging $8 per student, and then if they have additional siblings, $5 a student, and then we have an employee incentive where it is $5 a child for our employees, children within the district, because a lot of our employees do count on these programs as well. And so that is where we're at right now. This is, again, an adjustment from the inception of the program over 30 years ago, and so this is going to be something we'll also evaluate to see how that goes moving forward.
So it went from 5 to 8?
$5 to $8, yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Per
And
day.
then again, staying at $5 for any additional siblings.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
And Ms. Nino, how is
Yes,
that decision made? Who makes the decision on the tuition cost?
So on that decision, we meet as a team. So principals and I met actually right after the audit findings were shared with us. That audit was conducted last August and then shared with me. That program is overseen by my office, and I come together with them. We responded to the audit, and then that was something that we looked at in saying, okay, we're needing to recruit more staff. Staff is asking, can we get paid a little bit more, because we've been getting paid the same for the last 20 years plus. And to have them to help take care of our students after school, we really count on them. Sometimes we have to open doors to say, where else can we hire a college student, et cetera, if we don't have enough of our own staff that can, and when I say our own staff, district staff. Sometimes you have a transportation aide signing up to be a safe and secure assistant. And so
And what's that, is it a stipend, or how do we pay for safe and secure?
So if they're an hourly employee, we have to pay them time and a half based on that. If they're salary, then there's a table rate that's in our compensation plan for each of those roles.
Okay. And I think moving this year from $5 to $8, it created some problems for families and on affordability. Have we looked at scholarships on need-based some type of support so families can still be part of Safe and Secure?
So that is a great question, and we've gotten to speak with that with our principals about that. We've not denied any families if cost, there's an obstacle or a challenge for our families. Our principals have worked with them. All it takes is just letting us know, including space. If they say, I didn't get to sign up last month, but my needs at my house have changed. All they need to do is contact us, and we'll definitely be able to support them. Scholarships, there's no scholarships as far as something within the district, but again, there's definitely an opportunity for us to make sure that our family is not going to be left without after school if Safe and Secure is that number one option to meet their family needs at that time.
And I really thank you for that, because I know it means a lot to the families. And then I think I have one last question.
Yes, sir.
How do we choose what campuses to put this at? And, where do we determine the need? And, that's my question.
That is a great question. So this is selected by each school. They have the option to offer this, and any of our 18 elementaries always have the option to explore and see if this is an option for their families. But in some of our campuses, as it's shown on this slide here, it's if families are also wanting them to be connected there at school, but through Parks and Recreation, then that's their choice to pick as well, or somewhere else. But a school can always onboard the program at any point in time. And we've had just one inquirer not want to start the process yet because there's not a lot of interest yet. But as soon as there is, we're willing to open that and expand it at any one of our 18 elementaries.
And so I guess we gauge interest campus by campus, or is there I apologize, I don't know, is there an online form? How do we know where the interest is?
Sometimes the principals will just, if they have enough inquiries from the families, do you have offer Safe and Secure? And some, again, they just rely on the current partners that are there. And if any of our principals want to respond to how you started your program, you can. But the ones that we have it right now, there was a high request, and also this was a great option to offer at the highly enrolled schools as well. Some of those there's a lot of students, and families do need more help with picking a spot to have their student taken care of after school.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
And I appreciate, Ms. Nino, you, everybody, and all our principals, because I know this is going above and beyond, and it means a lot to our families. So thank you for everything you do.
Absolutely, sir. Thank you.
I have one. Oh, go ahead.
Nope.
No, go ahead. Oh.
Okay, one more question, sorry.
Yes, ma'am.
As far as our partners go with the city and Boys and Girls Club, at any point did we communicate with them that we were going to increase prices? Because some of the feedback that I had gotten early on this school year already was that we didn't. So when parents heard about the increase in our rates, well, then they jumped over to the Boys and Girls Club, and that kind of put them in a situation because they weren't ready for the influx that they were getting for their programs. So, of course, we're always grateful to our community supporters and partners, and so I highly encourage that when we are making a change like that, that not only impacts our families, but also possibility of impacting our partners, and how they're going to have to staff as well, because, I mean, we're all serving the same community and the same children, so it's important that we all work together. And if we know that these increases are coming, then we need to, I think, address those early on, because I know Boys and Girls Club as well was scrambling at the last minute, trying to figure out how to service all of these children. So I completely understand that prices are going to increase. It's just a matter of ensuring that everybody is aware, and it's not just a surprise to not only our families, but the community partners as well.
Absolutely. Thank you for that feedback, and we will be better communicators about that moving forward. I know that after that was brought to our attention, we looked at the data from one of our partners. We're proud to say that from the McAllen ISD elementary level, we did not have any students that were on that wait list due to a demand or an increase on Safe and Secure. And on the contrary, our principals have continued meeting needs for Safe and Secure on our end, but we work well with our partners. We all align with closing on early release days when one program is closed to see how to make sure that families aren't left out from one program or the other. But other than that, we can just be, continues to be better communicators about any information moving forward.
Absolutely. Thank you for that.
Yes, ma'am, absolutely.
And I apologize, Ms. Newell, we don't have a wait list, correct?
We do not. No, we do not have all of our students and families that have asked up to now, our principals have accommodated, even if that means trying to outsource and ask staff, can we hire, we've increased the price on the pay or the hourly part, and we will do our best to make sure that those needs are met. And again, now with Castañeda also being an option, we will extend that to our families as well.
And we actually had students that came back, that went to Boys and Girls Club and are back with us. I know we only had 2 students that went to Boys and Girls Club. We had a few that went last year, but because they heard that Boys and Girls Club let them bring their phones, but once the parents found out what they were doing on their phones, guess what? They brought them back to us. So we had no parents complain about the increase in price, and we've been able to accommodate everyone. So, we're here to serve our students and our families.
My question got answered, so thank you. I was just going to kind of echo that, the concerns about the impact on our partners and just continuing to work with them. So thank you all very much for your work.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
This takes us to item 6A4, report regarding the release of the 2024 and 2025 Texas Education Agency A through F accountability ratings. Dr. Gutierrez.
Yes, Madam Vice President and Board of Trustees, administration will provide an overview of a report regarding the release of the 2024 and the 2025 Texas Education A through F accountability ratings. Ms. Jeanette Nino, Associate Superintendent for Instructional Leadership, as well as Dr. Rosalba de Hoyos, Assistant Superintendent for Instructional Services, will have more information along with Ms. Quintanilla, who has been collecting and evaluating our data for the last 2 months. And so she has a PowerPoint to present our A through F accountability for the last 2 years, and this is for information purposes only. Go ahead, Ms. Quintanilla.
Good evening. So today I have a report to the board. I will be reporting on 2024 and 2025 A through F accountability. I do want to begin with the accountability system. What we currently have, we have the A through F accountability system that is a statewide system that is established by the Texas Education Agency that allows the agency to evaluate the campuses and districts academically. The academic performance is evaluated. As you can see, the district and the campuses are evaluated. 70% of the score comes from better of achievement or progress, and 30% comes from closing the gaps. Together, we receive an overall grade. Just to note, districts' ratings are used. They use the same methodology of the 70-30. However, the districts, the campuses provide proportional weighing. So they provide proportional weight that aggregates and gives us our overall rating for the school district. I do want to mention that there are some accountability and assessment shifts on the horizon. We have heard of House Bill 8. Senate Bill 8 has already been voted on, and they're identical. They are aiming to reshape the statewide student assessments, how they are conducted. So what we have is that they're proposing to replace the high-stakes STAR exam with 3 shorter exams. So these 3 tests would be administered beginning, middle, and end of the school year. And these exams are intended to have or provide faster results and give teachers more time to teach. They are also intended to reduce the testing pressure. And in terms of the accountability system, what we have noted is some changes that are proposed is they are continuing to require the annual A through F rating. School ratings will continue. And the bill is choosing to ban the not rated designations to the statewide. Some districts are not rated at times. They are also proposing to refresh the cut scores every 5 years. And there are major discussions about growth-based measures, so measuring the growth from beginning to end of the year. And lastly, the bill has proposed prohibiting taxpayer-funded lawsuits against the state over accountability ratings. So these are the shifts upon us. On this slide, you can see we have our state accountability system rating from 2023. We did earn our B87 in 2023. And in 2024, though that data was released at the same time as 2025 accountability ratings were released, so it is now official that we have an 89B in 2024. We had 12 A's, 15 B's. We did have 1 C at the time and 1 D in 2024. However, in 2025, we increased the number of A's by 5 more A-rated campuses to 17. And we reduced B's, obviously, because they grew to A's to 11, and we only had 1 C in the entire school district. And we earned an A rating of a 90, 90.3 to be exact.
Yeah.
Yes.
And before we got that 90.3, Ms. Quintanilla, that's what she had, 90.3 calculated. So she was right on the money.
Thank you. So here we have our overall district rating results. These are the state results that were provided. So there are about 1,207 school districts and charters here in the state of Texas, and only 169 school districts received an A rating. That is 14%. Therefore, McAllen is in that top 14% of the state, earning an A rating. In Region 1, we do have 45 traditional school districts, 45 traditional and charter school districts, and only 8 school districts earned an A rating, so that is 18% here in Region 1, and we are in that top 18% as well. Now, what I have for you here is we have the traditional school districts ratings by enrollment. We have ranked our ratings by enrollment, and in front of you, you can see that McAllen ISD is the largest enrolled district in the Rio Grande Valley to earn an A rating. So we are ranked 3rd overall in Region 1, along with 2 other districts with a 90A as well. And here is our Domain 1 student achievement score of a B. We improved that as well. We also grew our academic growth and relative performance with a 90, and our Domain 3 a 91. Therefore, our 70% score came from the 90A, and our 30% from the 91A. Together gave us a 90.3 as a school district. Now here we have our high school campus ratings. So I'm very proud to announce that our 5 high school earned A ratings. All 5 high schools earned A ratings, and each high school earned more distinctions this 25 school year. And Nicky Rowe earned an A and all 7 eligible distinctions. So kudos, yes, absolutely. And just a little background, distinctions are recognitions based on master's performance, and they are measured or compared against their 40 comparison group. The 40 comparison group is composed of statistically similar schools based on their enrollment and demographics. So they're very similar. So our schools came out on top in the top quartile. That means they were top 10 in their 40 comparison group.
Was this the first year that all our high schools get straight A's?
Absolutely. This is our first year that all our high schools earn all straight A's.
This is the first time that all our high schools get straight A's. It's never happened before, so.
Yes.
Beyond impressive.
Very good work. Now, this is our middle school campus ratings that I have for you. This school year in 2025 we did earn 4 middle schools earned an A rating and 1 more than last year. That means Brown Middle School joined the team with an A rating. And all the A-rated middle schools earned all 7 eligible distinctions. And then we do have 2 B-rated campuses, but they're high Bs as well. And I am proud to announce that also their distinctions increased in numbers. Now in elementary, we had, here in front of you, I have 8 rated elementary campuses, 9 B rated and 1 C rating. All 6 elementary schools, we have 6 elementary schools that earned all 6 eligible distinctions, and the rest of the campuses increased in number of distinctions. But I want to proudly announce that this brings our school district's grand total to 135 distinctions. That is 40 more distinctions than 2024 school year. So our results. Earning an A in the A through F accountability system is not a small accomplishment. It reflects a lot of dedication, focus, and commitment. And our results tell a powerful story. Teaching and learning is at the heart of McAllen ISD. And through the aligned systems of instructional support, data-driven decision-making, people development, and the specialized program services, we ensure that every student receives high-quality, personalized learning experiences. We integrate strong leadership, coaching, professional development, and of course, community partnerships to provide consistent support and enrichment to each student. Now here we have our story. It says every face, every moment, every success together tell our story. We are McAllen ISD. Thank you. This concludes my report.
Do you have any comments from the board? This is for information only, but.
Just great news. Thank you, everybody. Everybody works hard. We know that. The numbers speak for themselves. Congratulations, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you all very much. It's awesome.
Yeah. I would also just like to echo an appreciation and a congratulation to the team. One part of the data that I tend to look at is the number of high-need students. And it's great that we can say that we're in the top 14% of all districts across the state. But when we look at performance of districts that have 70% or more of students on free and reduced lunch, which is historically a group of students that have higher needs coming into the campus, there are only 2%. We are in the 2% of all districts across the state that are above 70% and have an A rating. And so to me, that speaks volumes to the heart and soul of this community and of our district. So thank you all so much for that.
I just want to take the time to thank all the staff for this amazing report card. It's going to be now moving that bar even higher because this report card is amazing. So we'll be up to the challenge for this coming year to raise the bar even higher. So thanks to everyone.
And to you as well, Dr. Gutierrez. You should take a bow.
Thank you.
Okay, that takes us to item 6B, human resources items. We've already done 6B1. 6C, business and operations items. 6C1, report regarding the 2025-2026 menu processing and plasticware analysis 9D. Dr. Gutierrez.
The Child Nutrition Department is committed to providing nutritious, high-quality meals that support student health and academic success. As part of our ongoing efforts to evaluate and improve our meal offerings, we're bringing forward a discussion on 2 key areas of concern: processed foods on our current menu and the use of single-use plasticware. Ms. Sonia Esquivel, our Director for Child Nutrition, will present on this report, and this also is an information purposes only presentation. Go ahead, Ms. Esquivel.
Thank you, Dr. Gutierrez and board members. So today I am presenting the current menu, a sample of the current menu, and we will be talking about the items that, I was asked to look at items that are whole food versus processed foods, and then also single-use plasticware. So we started off as an admin team in our child nutrition and started to try to figure out how we would look at our menu. And so we started off with just a basic, how are we going to define a whole product versus a minimally processed product, or a processed product, or a speed scratch. So you can kind of see the list of how we defined, and there's a definition. So just for example, whole product, an example of that would just be a whole fruit or a vegetable. And then we also put a note on the bottom that many of our proteins are fully cooked proteins, and the reason that a lot of child nutrition programs do that is for safety purposes. So we had a period in time where there was a lot of scratch cooking. The market went into processed foods or fully cooked items, and so right now we kind of have a workforce that is not trained to deal with raw products. So we have discussed as a nutrition team trying to go in that direction, but we will need some time to be able to train a workforce in how to receive and process and move fully, raw items. So before we look at the actual menu, I wanted to point out that school food products are specifically formulated to meet USDA guidelines. So manufacturers identify school food products as K-12 products. So child nutrition programs are required to meet nutritional standards weekly and daily. So they must meet weekly and daily sodium, fat, whole grain, and calorie counts. These are not only just across the board, but they're also, you have to meet it by grade level as well. While we're looking at the menu items, they might seem very similar to things that you see out at the grocery stores or at a fast food place, but just know that they are a completely different recipe than what is being presented before you, okay? So starting off with the first example, being a 2-ounce Lucky Charm bowl. So these are this manufacturer makes it specifically for a K-12 product. And I know this is an item that we even try to work towards changing this school year. So we have 2 new registered dietitians on our team. One of them focuses mainly on special diets, and the other one focuses on menu development. And one of the first things that they did in looking at our menu, because this is their full complete year, was looking at they look at our breakfast menu before. So we made it. I know you might see this and go, this is horrible, but there was a huge improvement from the 24-25 school year to the 25-26 school year, because they came in and said, nah, we need protein in our breakfast, right? So you'll see as we go through the menu that there is always some sort of protein option alongside some of the grains, and that was a big improvement, because in the previous there was a lot of grains, more grains than anything else on our menu. And they are working towards, coming down the pipeline, 2027, there's going to be a new sugar level guidance or regulations that isn't just going to look at the day, but it's going to actually look at the whole week. So with that in mind, they're already working on trying to make those changes to our menu. On the second slide is an example of 2 different items that you might look at, something that you see in a restaurant. So it is a Mandarin orange chicken or an orange chicken that is comparing like a Panda Express. This is the K-12 version of it. While they look similar, they are completely different. And the difference is, you can see it in the fat, the cholesterols, the calories, the sodium. Noting this is probably one of the students' absolute favorite. If we run out, there's like riots in the cafeteria. But also note that we also control the portion size, right? So you ask any high schooler, what do you think? We love it, and every time they say, but we need more, right? So another way that we control, we have to meet, our whole regulation, so we have to control that portion size. So they would say, it's not enough. So this is served with brown rice and whole grain egg rolls, okay?
I want some.
I know.
It's actually
Next time
really
we
good.
need samples.
Yes. And then we took the same approach to looking at our plasticware. And so we did definitions on that. And so if you look at something like a wrap, that's when you go to the convenience store and get a taco and they're wrapped in a foil to help transport them and also keep them warm. And then individually wrapped, those are items that come directly from the manufacturer exactly the way they come packaged. It's just an easy either heat and serve or just serve. And then plated, so those are items directly on a plate. And then plasticware, those are, a lot of those, we use it for, because of staffing issue, right? So we don't have enough staff to work every single section of the line. So to eliminate that would require more staff to be able to have to serve at the time of service. It speeds up the lines to be able to pre-portion. It helps with waste because we do offer versus serve. So we know, we don't make enough for the whole school. We know, we kind of have a forecast of what they're going to take. So we only prepare what is anticipated that they're going to take. And so I know I was asked as well to look into why maybe or at what point we started using disposable trays. And I kind of had to call some people to try to figure out like when that happened. And I think I talked to Ms. Carmen Ocañas, who used to be the director when, I think she said she came in the late 90s and then was around during the build of our offices. And she said when she got here in the late 90s, they were already using disposable. And she said from what she remembers is that the dishwashers were getting too expensive to repair or replace. So at that point, the district had started to move towards building new facilities without them. So estimated cost based on a neighboring district, probably about $45,000 per dishwasher, and that's depending on the facilities, right? So we would really have to look at if the facility can do it. And so on this one, I'm just going to kind of point out a couple of items. So this is a sample of our high school menu. So a lot of the high school, middle school, and elementary menus are very similar, but where they will differ is in items like Monday bone-in chicken for chicken wings for a high school, and a middle school, an elementary will do a boneless chicken. So they are very, very similar, but some of the switches that we've made this year into trying to create a cleaner menu is we switched the taco beef filling for the nachos, and that's 100% beef item. So our registered dietitians are already looking at those changes, and we've already started to implement some of those. Our hamburger meat, it was already 100% beef, but the other one had caramelized coloring, and that this is a super clean label, has 4 ingredients. It has beef, onions, salt, and pepper. And that's the only thing on those, on that hamburger. And then just like, the other thing that we look at when we're trying to develop a menu is on a day like the Mandarin orange chicken, that is a very popular item, is putting it up against a steak finger. It is semi-processed. It's 100% beef, but it has seasoning in there. But we also know that Mandarin orange, they do all the rice, they do all the cooking of all that. It's a lot of assembly. So we have to pair it up against another simple item because then we run out of equipment and space in the cafeteria. And then for week 2, I forgot to mention. So our menus are, one of the changes we did this year was we did a 4-week menu cycle, which means every 4 weeks the menu repeats itself. And one of the reasons we did that was because we heard that students were saying that they wanted a variety of menu options. And so we put in another week because we'd always run a 3-week menu cycle. We put in another week. And so we did little tweaks. So there, you'll see like maybe hamburgers on Wednesdays, pizza on Fridays. But like Pizza Friday, we did different varieties of pizza. So one week it might be a sliced pizza. The next week it might be a personal size pizza. The next week it might be a rectangle. So we're just trying to bring in, still a pizza day for students, but it's just giving them a different type of pizza. And so here on week 2, we've brought in a Philly cheesesteak. Again, that's 100% beef. I'll notate that some of our chicken tenders, our chicken fillet burger, those are whole muscle. We're not buying pressed and formed chicken. And then you'll also see on Wednesday, another highlight is you'll always see a entree of a salad. So for high schools and middle schools, we give the full salad as a second option. In elementaries, we made the change this year. We noticed last year when we were out doing campus visits that unfortunately the little kids would get the salad, they'd look beautiful, but they would only eat the top. They would eat off the chicken, the cheese, the crackers, the egg. They would throw away all the lettuce, you know. So in a way to reduce waste for our elementaries, what we did is we renamed it like a bento box. So we always lay it on a good amount of salad on the bottom, a little less than what we were giving them, but then we do all the toppings for them. So we still want to make sure that they're seeing the lettuce, but we also want to help with reducing the cost of.
Did it help, or do they still leave the lettuce?
No, they still throw the lettuce, but they still eat all the time. For our week 3, one of the highlights is our meat sauce. That's 100% beef, nothing else added. Mix it in with our marinara sauce. And then the other highlight is just all of our sides that we offer. So you'll always see, and they're very similar week per week, but we do Normandy, broccoli, fresh carrots, cucumbers. So you might see our breakfast items repeat a couple of times, and like I said, that is one of the things that our registered dietitians are working towards, is increasing the amount of, or more options for our breakfast item. And then our last week, new this year, is our street tacos. It is the same meat as the Philly cheese, but they're like taquitos, street tacos. So there are 4 little tacos. And they are used with a local tortilla, which is exquisita, and that's where we buy our tortillas.
What about the tamales?
The
Who
tamales?
makes the tamales?
It's a company out of Dallas, Rodriguez Foods. So, yeah, we've been buying from them for a long time now.
Looks like I want to come to lunch. Like, seriously.
So overall, as you can see, this is kind of like the overview of 4 weeks. We tried to be in our goal was to kind of be in the whole foods and minimally processed meals more than processed. And so we're pretty much there, but like I said, the district had not really had a registered dietitian on staff for a while. So this year, I'm really excited that we have 2, right? So one is that's their whole goal is just developing a menu. But she was also new this year, so she was kind of like learning all about child nutrition. So just know that that is on the forefront of, our goals is to continue to improve our menu. One of the ways, obviously, right now that we do assess our menu is just being compliant. First of all, it's just being compliant with USDA. So we have programs that we're able to see, have we met all the requirements for the week, for the day? So that is constantly being assessed. Now, the next step is obviously, providing better food options, as much as we can. So just things to consider when we're developing a menu is, we're always looking at labor, right? Can we actually push out the menu with the labor the staff that we have? And then equipment use is one of the things that we focused on this year, and we probably started halfway last year, was quality of our menu. So we pushed our staff when we went out to look at campuses is trying to cook a product as close to the serving time that we could, and not preparing it so early in the morning just because it's the easy way to do, right? So we're really, really focusing on quality, but it's a balance, right? Because they only have so many ovens or so much equipment. So, at some point they have to start because the serving lines don't stop, right? So it's a fine balance. We're always looking at availability of space and preparing at a campus. We have some campuses where if you walk in, there's like refrigerators and reaches all over the place. We can't plug one more thing in. And those are schools that receive daily, but they serve high volumes of students. Also, the need to transport, that kind of falls for our breakfast. So our breakfast model is we do breakfast in the hallway for all of our campuses. And so that means that we load up carts with their food, and students, as they're walking in, grab their food and go and finish eating. They eat in their classroom, but they grab the meals in the hallway. So sometimes when we're looking at containers or how we're going to actually serve it, we have to look at how is it going to get transported. So those are some of the challenges. Obviously, compliance with portion size, that has to do with some of that pre-portioning that I talked about with the plasticware, and then shortages of staff. Sometimes we're looking at they have a very short window to turn around after breakfast and start getting ready for lunch, and when we're short, so we try to create menus that are balanced out with labor and convenience, because if that happens, they need to be able to jump in and produce their meals. Product availability, for procurement purposes, some of these items like fresh fruits, or locally grown fruits, I should say, sometimes become a challenge. Right now, I know our bids is through the McAllen ISD, and so we have some vendors that have bid on it, but they have a problem being able to deliver the quantities that we need, and then the timing of it, because those are weekly or sometimes bi-weekly orders that need to be delivered to campuses. But I have been talking to other districts, and some of them have implemented it, and so the way they've implemented is they maybe do a school of just local produce for a week or a day or something like that. So that is something that we can definitely look at. What we do now is we order from local distributors, and we have them highlight the items that they consider local. For them would be anywhere in the state of Texas, right? So that's as close as we've gotten to this point. And then always looking at budget for our menu development. That's another thing that we look at. And then our CMP goals for future menu development. And this was presented just as things that we've talked about as a nutrition team, not necessarily what our goals are for our department. We have a goal as a department to meet 80% participation for breakfast and for lunch. That means every student that attends, 80% of them eat breakfast and lunch, and we're at 11% for our supper program. And so the way we've ran it is participation means a good menu. So that's where we push for providing the best menu that we can possibly put out, so that way students will participate in our program, okay? And that is all that I have right now.
Thank you.
Congratulations on all the work and the good food. I have a quick question. How much staff do you have? And I'm talking about central office and then at the schools, just if you have the number.
Yeah, it's about 240, and that's including warehouse as well. We have our warehouse staff.
And Ms. Elkabet, thank you so much for putting all this together.
Yes, of
I know
course.
I've peppered you with a lot of questions behind the scenes, so I won't bother you. I won't belabor all those points here. But I want to give you a shout out. And I wish Dr. Kittleman was here, because she is so passionate about this, and she's so, she really wants to move forward with, getting our students, the best, healthiest options. And of course, I know you have a push and pull, right? You want to give the best, healthiest options, but then if the kids don't need it, it really impacts our participation rate and our funding. And then without the funding, we can't obviously provide options. So believe me, we understand that. We want to help you. We want to be there as a resource for you and help you in any way to get you the resources you need. You said your goal is 80% participation. Are we there?
Last year, we were, I think for both breakfast and lunch, and I meant to write down the number, but we were, I want to say we're at like 79 point something. So we were really, really close.
And then on the supper program, does that include Safe and Secure, or what is that
Yes.
program? Okay, great.
So all the programs, we even do we provide meals for the Boys and Girls Club, the LARC community centers. So we take that as a whole.
I love that. I love our Boys and Girls Club kids, our kids that are there
Mhm.
getting fresh food. And so that's really a nice perk to have.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's really
And I think you've made tremendous progress. Like, you let me know some new things today about, like the chicken is whole chicken and not, I forget what that
The
that pink
Preston
mash
form.
stuff is called, yeah. So, I want to make sure that we provide the healthiest options. Processed food, and the more literature you see out there, especially in the medical field,
Yes.
is that, the more processed foods we eat, the unhealthier we get, the more
Yes.
obese we get. The more, we're seeing young men and women in their 20s getting colorectal cancer,
Right.
and they're linking it to processed food. So anything we can do that to front, and it's not just about MISD, right? We have a lot of vendors. We can
Right.
put the impetus on them and
Right.
ask them, say, MISD wants healthy food. What are the options you're giving me? And, like the Lucky Charms, I love Lucky Charms, but I don't think that's a healthy option to give our kids,
Yes.
even if it is a school lunch program
Right.
version of Lucky Charms.
Yes.
And, either working through the SHAC committee with our fellow trustees, with the community, I think we have so much opportunity here to lead by example. Brownsville ISD, Dr. Kidman and I talked to Brownsville ISD. They're going to be highlighted in a national, the Chef Ann, they got a grant through Chef Ann Foundation. They're going to be highlighted national documentary on Netflix, just with what they're doing. I think they're cooking anywhere from 50 to 60% scratch cooking
Yeah.
at reduced overhead costs.
Right.
So there is a path forward. I know you want to get there. We want to help you. So thank you for the presentation tonight. Thank you for everything you're doing. And I look forward to see what we can do the next couple of years.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs.
Thank you,
Kivet.
Ms. Kivet.
Okay, we are at item 6C3, discussion and possible action on the McAllen Independent School District July budget amendment for fiscal year beginning July 1, 2025, and ending June 30th, 2026. Dr. Gutierrez.
We recommend approval for the July 2025 budget amendment for the 25-26 fiscal year. Ms. Lorena Garcia, Deputy Superintendent for Business and Operation, will have more information on this item, and administration is recommending action on the item.
Good evening. We're bringing forth the budget amendment, the first budget amendment of the year, the school year. What we have are some changes in our revenue and expenditure. First of all, in revenue, we do have a carry forward of a donation that was received for the culinary program of $9,221, increasing in revenue. You will see the offset of that in the expenditures on the bottom. And then on the expenditure side, we have several expenditures. For example, we have the UTRGB McAllen ISD Collegiate Academy that received some new instructional facility allotment funding. And that funding is, of course, in fund balance. What it is, it's $1,000 per student enrolled at the campus for the first 2 years of the existence of that new campus. So that grant, we are spending it down as needed for furniture and science lab equipment. In addition to that, we do have some carry forwards for expenditures that were identified last year for memorial dual enrollment science lab improvement to meet STC standards. So that is being did not get completed last year, so we're bringing it forward for this year. Dyslexia program is using up some of their fund balance for the Certified Academic Language Therapist certification. And then we have our replacement schedule. We do have some needs in athletics and fine arts. A lot of this is uniforms. They're on a cycle, and that is being brought forward. Finally, we have in Function 81 the largest transaction, which is $2.5 million for the McAllen Veterans Memorial Track and Turf replacement. And then we have $400,000 for the McAllen High School bleacher replacement. And that is the budget amendment.
Do you have any questions, Board?
When, sorry, one question. When would I know we talked about this previous hearing, but when would the track be replaced?
The track, we are currently working on the specifications with our engineer, and Mr. McClenny is here in case we have questions on the
I think we're waiting, we're gonna be waiting, we're gonna be ready for, right after the Christmas parade, which is that first weekend in December, and right after the parade, then, we should be all set to go. Am I correct on that?
That is correct. The goal is to start demolition right after the parade and then have this ready by April.
By
the
next
latest.
fall.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. McClenny, so given spring sports, track, boys and girls soccer, what's the plan to?
The plan will be to, when this, hopefully the budget amendment goes through, we will start the building of the bleachers at the McAllen Top Field on the east side. The capacity will be over 1,000 for those, so that'll be the exact same size as Nikki Rowe and
Okay.
Memorial's home side. So it'll be kind of look like
Right.
Memorial Boxer Hernandez Stadium
Okay.
with approximately over 1,000 bleachers on the home side and approximately 400 to 500 on the away side.
Okay.
So, and then track season, we will have no track meets at the McAllen Veterans Memorial Stadium. We'll work through the track schedule. We can still use the top field once the bleachers are done, so we can do some invitationals there. We won't be able to use our timing system over there, but we'll be able to have smaller track meets there or at Boxer.
Okay.
So we'll have a relief valve there.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
This is for action.
I move to approve.
Second.
Motion by trustee De La Garza Lopez and a second by trustee Peña. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item 6C4, discussion and possible action on a resolution by the Board of Trustees of McAllen Independent School District providing for the defeasance to maturity of certain currently outstanding district obligations. Dr. Gutierrez.
Tonight's resolution will provide for the defeasance to maturity of certain currently outstanding district obligations. Ms. Lorena Garcia, our Deputy Superintendent for Business and Operations, will have more information on this item. We are recommending action on this item. Our financial advisors are also here from Estrada Hinojosa in the event that there's any questions by the board.
Mr. Bobby Villarreal from Estrada Hinojosa, as well as Mr. Matt Lee from Norton Rose Fulbright, our bond counsel, is connected via Teams. They're available for any questions. The resolution provides for the early payoff of the district existing bonds. The defeasance will allow us to use interest and sinking tax collections to set up an escrow account that will pay certain bonds to maturity. Once these bonds are defeased and the district is no longer, these are no longer considered a district liability. Approximately $4.55 million is what we plan on defeasing. However, we won't know what the final amount until all of the collections are finalized.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Villarreal or for the administration?
I move to approve. Thank you for both for being here tonight. I move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Peña and a second by trustee De La Garza Lopez. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you.
Item 6D, Board of Trustees, item 6D1, approval of Board of Education meeting minutes. School Safety and Security Committee meeting, August the 12th, 2025. Regular board meeting, August 12th, 2025. This is for action.
Move to approve.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I'll get trustee Carrion on there. I have a motion by trustee Peña, a second by trustee Carrion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. And now we are item 7, recess to closed session. Board of Trustees may go into closed session pursuant to sections 551.071, 551.072, 551.074, 551.076, and 551.089 of the Texas Government Code to discuss the following: 7A, Human Resources and Recommendations for School Year 2025-2026. 7B, Discussion of Human Resources Employee Resignations and Retirees for School Year 2025-2026. 7C, Discussion of Recommendation for Director of Advanced Academics for 2025-2026. 7D, Discussion of District Emergency Operations Manager for 2025-2026. 7E, Discussion regarding School Safety and Security. 7F, Pending and/or Potential Litigation. 7G, Possible Real Estate Acquisition. And at 7:04 p.m., we are recessed to close. It is now 7:49 PM, and we are reconvened in open session, number 8 on the agenda. Number 9, action items in closed session. 9A, discussion and possible action of human resources recommendations for school year 2025-2026. Dr. Gutierrez.
Human Resources submitted a list of recommendations for the 25-26 school year under a separate cover for discussion during closed session. Administration is recommending action on this item.
Motion to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee Carrion and a second by trustee Peña. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. 5-0, motion carries. Item 9B, discussion of human resources employee resignations and retirees for school year 25-26. Dr. Gutierrez.
Human Resources submitted a list of resignations and retires for the 25-26 school year under a separate cover for discussion during closed session. This item is for information purposes only.
Item 9C, discussion and possible action of recommendation for Director of Advanced Academics 2025-2026. Dr. Gutierrez.
Administration recommends the approval of Ms. Alexandra Gonzalez for the position of Director of Advanced Academics for the 25-26 school year, and administration is recommending action on this item.
Move to approve.
Second.
I have a motion by trustee De La Garza Lopez and a second by trustee Haddad. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0. Item 9D, discussion and possible action of recommendation for District Emergency Operations Manager for 2025-2026. We are taking no action on this item tonight. Item 9E, discussion regarding school safety and security. No, nothing to report. 9F.
Same announcement.
And that's pending or potential litigation. And 9G, potential possible real estate acquisition.
Same announcement, nothing else.
And item 10, adjournment.
So moved.
I'll second.
Second.
All right, trustee Peña, or trustee De La Garza Lopez made the motion, trustee Peña second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries 5-0, and we are adjourned at 7:51 PM.